Oh shit, yeah. I know. It's been like 2 weeks. Where the fuck have you been? Right? Nowhere. Working. Going crazy. Busy as shit. And I was gonna do like a couple days ago, I probably recorded part 7 of this whole thing 4 different times. And either I got like a phone call in the middle of it, or I just didn't like the way the story was going. So now I'm gonna try it one more time, seeing that 4th of July is tomorrow, and I'm just gonna tell some stories of the last time I was in jail and try to keep it somewhat light. Well, it's not the last time I was in jail, but it was the last time I was in jail. You know, I don't remember exactly where I left part 6 off at, but you know, I got violated. Fucking codeine, it was so stupid. And when I went to court, I don't remember if I told this part, so I'll just kind of skim it. Once again, it was like right before Memorial Weekend. So it was like I was in there for a week. I go to court, plead not guilty or whatever, so I can get the lawyer. No court the next week because it's Memorial Weekend. Go to court the next week on the 3rd week. And I was like, I told my lawyer, I said, I don't want to be on papers anymore. I said, whatever I got to do, I don't care if they're going to give me a number, send me upstate, I'll file for my state time, whatever. I don't even give a shit. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of probation. I'm sick of all of it. Like, I'm done, right? And he says, okay. So they take me out into the courtroom, and my little brother's out there. I think my mom was there. My girlfriend was there. And the judge, you know, he's like, yeah. Talks to me, talks to my PO. He says, what do you want to do? And I told him, you know, my lawyer told him, and I told him, I said, no. He said, no more probation. And he said, okay. This is what you want to do? And I said, yeah. The dude that was in front of me, that went in right before me, also had a felony for theft. Also was on his 2nd PV. Like, a lot of his shit mirrored a lot of my shit. Well, he went in, they gave him 6 months in prison. I thought I was about to get the exact same because our cases were so similar. He gave me 6 months in county with no time served. And I was like, dude, last year I spent 4.5 months in county on a 4-month like bid. Like, this is fucking crazy. That dude that was in front of me, I made friends with him in the pod. He actually wrote me when he was in prison and was like, yeah, man, look, that sucks you got county time because I filed for my state time. I got every day. I'm only going to be here for another month on a 6-month bid. And I was like, this is fucking nuts. And this time I was like, I am not just sitting over here in G-Pop for 6.5 months. Like, I was already there for 21 days, and they gave me a 180-day sentence with no time served. Like, no. So I started, like, flying a kite. It's like you fill out a letter, or fill out this paper, they call it flying a kite. You send a kite down. I was like, I want to go to the work pod. Like, I got to do something to make my time go by. Like, I'm not just going to sit here and play spades, fucking Texas Hold'em and handball all day. Like, I got to do something. So, I go see the nurse. The nurse tells me I got high blood pressure. I'm like, of course I got high blood pressure. I'm in jail. Yeah, you see my eye? I don't mean to divert, but I got into something like poison ivy or something, and I almost touched my face. I got it in my eye. It's fucking annoying. I got a couple little spots on my arm. I might have to You have to go get a shot in my ass or something. Make this shit go away. If it don't clear up soon. Or at least start getting, tolerable. It's been like this for about 2-3 days now. But anyway. So, she's like, yeah, you gotta start taking these pills. And, these blood pressure pills. And then you can go work. I was like, alright. So after about 2 weeks, they sent me down to the work pod. And I started working in the kitchen. It was cool, man. It wasn't, I don't know. Oh, let me back up a little bit. If you remember, the last time I was in jail, what was this, part 5, right? I met this little dude named Culver, right? And I was saying that, I would buy him stuff because he was on a diet tray, right? Now, I'm on that diet tray now. This time, because of my high blood pressure, I can't have salt and shit. Well, anyway, the last time I seen this dude, I bought him like a cheeseburger or pizza or something off the hot food menu. That was $5. He was supposed to buy me a $5 phone card, right? We get locked down after this for midday shift change or whatever, and all of a sudden they're telling him to pack it up, and I was like, dude, you're not getting out. And he comes to my cell door, he's like, bro, the feds are here to get me, because I knew he had a Fed case. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah, man, I didn't know, I'm so sorry. I was like, alright. He's like, I'll see if they'll, he's like, I flew a kite for a phone card, I'll see if they'll give it to you. I was like, alright, cool. He's like, I sent it in, hopefully you get it, they'll let you have it. The next day I asked him about it, no. I was like, yeah, it's $5, whatever, like, I'll probably never see that dude again. What am I gonna do, you know what I mean? Like, this dude lives in Indiana, you probably charge him Medina County, fucking Ohio. What am I gonna do? Now he's in a Fed case going who knows where. The day I got arrested and walked into the pod, that dude was sitting in there, right? And I was like, Culver? And he was like, Miller, what the fuck? I was like, dude, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, man, I'm here on a PV. And I was like, me too. I was like, did you go to court yet? He's like, I go to court, like tomorrow or something, right? I was like, no shit. He's like, don't I owe you money? I was like, you do. He's like, I got you. Got up, went into his cell, brought me back a $5 phone card. He's like, here you go. Like, I'd been there 10 minutes. Like, I just walked into the pod. I called home, talked to my mom for a quick minute, then I called my girl. Her brother answered, and if you know how those phone cards work, a $5 phone card, you're getting 2 quick 5-minute phone calls if you're lucky, right? I talked to my mom a little longer than I should have. Her brother answers the phone, accepts the phone call, and he goes to take her the phone. I got to talk to her for like 2 minutes, and then the phone cut out, and that was it. Next day I get a letter from him, So I'm in there with Culver. Culver leaves, he goes to the work pod. I go over to the work pod. Like, I'm in there with that dude. I'm meeting all these other people. I meet this big ass dude named Terry. He's in there for weed. He was growing weed and they caught him. And I guess they didn't even catch him with the weed. I guess he had already harvested all. But he had like the stalks and shit. And like the branches from cutting all the buds off. He said the cop showed up and he told him to come back with a search warrant. He started burning the shit in his fireplace. And they came back with a search warrant like 15 minutes later, kicked his door down and put out the fire. Whatever. They got him. Then, like, you start meeting people and you give them a different name. You know what I mean? Like, the last time I was in there, there's this kid, I can't remember his real name, but he looked like my cousin Scotty. So I started calling him Imitation Scotty. Then I just started calling him Scotty. The whole pod called him Scotty. Like, his name while he was in jail was Scotty. That wasn't even his real name. I don't even know his real name. if I saw that dude today, I'd be like, Scotty! He'd be like, what the fuck? I haven't heard that in 20 years. Or whatever, you know? And there's this other kid named Anthony. I was like, you don't look like an Anthony. I was like, you look like a Hector. And he was like, a Hector? And I was like, yeah, you look more like a Hector Guadalupe. And this other dude, Talty, was like, yeah, man, he does look like a Hector. And that's what we call, even the COs called this dude Hector. And me and Hector became tight, like, right, we were the two cooks, we worked together in the kitchen. And I worked the kitchen, and I also worked on litter patrol. And so you worked on litter patrol, like if somebody called and said, yeah, somebody dumped a bunch of tires over here, you know, they'd come and get like a couple of us out of the pod and take us to wherever it was, and we'd load them up on a trailer, and you know, or they'd be like, yeah, this section of highway's all fucked up. I think I only did that once. But during football season, throughout the week, we would go to all the different high schools in the county and clean up all the trash under the bleachers. And like some of the high schools would feed us. Like they would come back with Arby's and shit. Like it was sweet. Then during fair season, when Medina County Fair was over, we went in, and for a whole week, we went in and cleaned out the fairgrounds. You start at one end and work your way, do it in sections. Clean up all the garbage in the fairgrounds. You were outside, like, yeah, you were working, you weren't getting paid, but man, they took care of us in other ways. There's this restaurant in downtown Medina called Dominic's. The food is great. They'd hand you the menu. What do you want? You could order whatever you wanted. And they bring it back to the fairgrounds. You'd sit down like a giant picnic, you know? And it was, I hate to say it was awesome, but it was awesome. Like, it was pretty sweet. Like, especially for being in jail. Like, it was pretty sweet. Like, you'd find money, hide it in your socks, sneak it into jail, put it in one of your envelopes from your letters from home. So when you left, you had cash, because you weren't allowed to have cash on you. Like, this shit, man, we found packs of cigarettes and a lighter. Be hiding in the bathroom, hot boxing cigarettes outside, hiding in the bathroom at the fairgrounds. And then this one kid that worked on nights for night cleanup, he would like clean up the booking room. He found a blunt, all rolled up and ready to go. And he brought it back to the pod. He's like, I don't fucking know. They're gonna, as soon as we spark this, they're gonna smell it. And I was like, dude, why don't we just sneak it out of the jail the last day of litter and smoke it at the fairgrounds? And everybody thought that was a great idea. So we actually snuck weed out of jail to smoke it, to go back to jail. That was a great day. It was the last day of litter for the fairgrounds. We snuck it out of the jail, went into there's just only one bathroom. It was because all the porta potties were gone, so it was just like the one bathroom in the middle of the fairgrounds. And we just took turns going in there. You hit it a couple times, put it out, the next person go in there a couple minutes later, and that's what we did. And then when they brought the menu for Dominic's, everybody ordered something different. Like, you order a rack of ribs, you order a pizza, you order some sides, you order like some chicken. Like, everybody ordered something different, and we just had like a picnic. Like, it was great. Like, almost like you forgot you were in jail for the day, you know? But then, of course, when the day was over and the job was done, they took us back to the jail, and that was it. And you went the next day, you went right back to the kitchen, cooking for, 500 people. And then one day me and Hector decide, like, we should make some hooch, right? So how are we going to do that? He said, I know how to do it, don't worry. And he was really smart, like, fucking Hector. So, the salad dressing comes in these big, giant tubs for the salad dressing. And they had juice, like fruit juice there. So his jail was made from scratch. Like when you had spaghetti, they didn't make the noodles from scratch. But like when you had spaghetti, the sauce was made from scratch. Yeah, they used ground turkey, but it was alright. The gravy was made from scratch. The sloppy Joe mix was made from scratch. The coleslaw was made from scratch. Like you ground up the cabbage and mixed all this shit together and made the sauce and mixed it all up. Everything was made from scratch, except for the macaroni and cheese sauce. It was like Kraft sauce. It's like this powder. You just threw it on the noodles and added some water and mixed it up. If it was too thin, you added a little more powder. If it was too thick, you added a little more water, mix it up. You know, everything else was made from scratch except for that shit. But it's cheaper to cook that way, especially when you're cooking for fucking 500 people, 600 people in the jail, and then the 200 or so kids at juvie, because it was like right connected. It was in its own building, but it was like right there. And then we would feed those kids too. Plus, we got double portions, and if the food was good that day, the COs would come in and buy shit. If there was left over, they'd buy lunch or whatnot. And then sometimes I put my own spin on things. But, anyway, so, like the bread and the cakes and everything was made from scratch. The rolls, it was all made from scratch. So he gets some bread or yeast or something, he puts it in like a hairnet. Puts in this big tub with sugar and juice, fruit juice. And I think he even cut up like some oranges or something and threw it in there with it, right? And I'm like, well, you gotta burp it. Like, how are we gonna burp it every day? And he was like, yeah, you're right. Because as the alcohol ferments, you know, it expands, it creates pressure inside the closed lid. So you gotta like pop it once in a while or it'll explode. And then there goes all your work, right? So he took a rubber glove, you know, like used for work, like I got for work, like a latex glove that we had to wear when we were cooking, and stretched it across the top without the lid on it. And he poked little holes in the fingers. So as the pressure built up, the glove would get bigger and then it would expand. And it would let that pressure out. And it wouldn't explode. Oh, fucking Hector, you're a genius, right? So he makes one on Friday, makes another one on Friday. Starts the third one on Friday. So every Friday, we let it sit for 2 weeks, right? So he takes the first one and he puts it up on top of the light fixture in the bathroom. So now it's got heat source too, right? So he puts it up on top of the light fixture in the bathroom, stands on the toilet, puts it up there. We had our own coffee cups with screw top lids on them, right? And then you just wash them at the end of the night. In the morning, you got all the coffee you wanted in the kitchen. As a matter of fact, as soon as you walked in the morning, somebody would start brewing coffee. Somebody would be like, I got the coffee. And they start brewing coffee, drink coffee on it. They had screw top lids on it, so, you know, nobody knew it was in your cup anyway. So they're sitting, so you got 2 jugs, you know. This one is fermented for 2 weeks. We can drink this one. This one's been there for a week. That one will be for next week. Here's a new one, you know, put up this week. And he had a little system. So every Friday, he'd go in the bathroom like he was taking a shit and fill up our cups with the fucking juice. Come out of the bathroom, hand it to me, and I'm cooking, drinking, and it tasted bad. But it worked. It was effective. Like, it wasn't like, ooh, this tastes good. It was like, you drink it like, oh, fuck. But it worked, you know? And then at the end of the day, you'd leave the kitchen feeling good. About an hour and a half later, you'd have a horrible headache, and you'd take a little nap. Shit was good, you know? Fuck. And that's... Well, this kid Will was getting out. This little... And I would fuck with this... When he first came into the pod, I'd fuck with him, tell him I was gonna rape him and shit. And really, I was just playing with him. And then I caught him crying on the phone, and I was like, look, man. I was like... You know, I'm just fucking with you, right? Like, you're young, bro. Like, get your shit together. Like, you fuck up again, and you end up in a worse place, somebody's gonna be serious when they talk about that shit. Like, you're 4'8", 100 pounds if you're lucky. Like, I'm 6 foot 250. Like, I'd eat you alive if I really wanted to. And there's motherfuckers in here bigger than me, and there's motherfuckers down the river that are bigger and meaner and won't give two shits about exploiting your ass. You know? Get your shit together. I don't know where they do this today, but I hope he's doing good. Anyway, he was about to get out, and they had this little tiny calculator. It was like a credit card size calculator. It just disappeared. And everybody tried to say this kid stole. I don't think the kid stole it. I think he accidentally threw it away or something. Who knows, right? Well, until this calculator comes up from being missing, we can't leave. We're like, what the fuck? It's the end of the day. Like, we're done. It's time to go. I mean, we literally took all the garbage bags in the kitchen, dumped them out one at a time, and had to go through all the trash for the day looking for the stupid calculator just in case it fell in there, right? Tore apart the whole kitchen. They're looking up inside the ceiling fit things like, oh no, like this is not good. Hector starts freaking out. He's like, dude, they're gonna find it. I was like, who cares? Let them find it. They don't know who put it there, right? Like, don't worry about it. He's like, I gotta move him. I'm like, you can't move him. Like, the place is crawling with sheriffs right now. Like, and they're looking for the stupid credit card size calculator. What are you gonna do with that? Like, how, like, why anybody wanted it or whatever happened to it, I don't know, right? So this thing just, and really it was used because it'd be like, oh, we got 9 pounds of beans, and there's 6 ounces per tray. How many servings of beans do we have? You know what I mean? That's all that stupid thing was used for. And I'd have to fill out like this paper, like we have this many servings of this and this many servings of this. Oh, we have enough food to feed everybody, right? So, he goes in the bathroom, and I think he was just gonna like move them back a little bit, knocks them both over. Comes back, he's like, dude, I knocked him over. I was like, what? He's like, I knocked him over. He's like, I'm hoping it don't start leaking through the ceiling till we're gone, right? I'm like, you're fucking kidding me. And I'm like, I told you to leave him alone. He's like, I thought they were gonna go in the bathroom and start looking in the ceiling tiles. Like, dude, again, who gives a shit, right? That Brandon Will kid goes in the bathroom and he comes out and he's like, hey, there's like a water line broken or something in there. There's water coming from the ceiling. As soon as you open the bathroom door, you could smell it. You could smell it. Like, oh no, right? So now the COs are dealing with this shit. Who gives a fuck about the little calculator now? Now they want to deal with this stuff. They take us back to the pod. And I mean, they always kind of like wanded you and gave you a quick pat down. I mean, this time they were up to feeling her balls, like taking you into the room, bend over, looking in your cheeks, make sure you don't have the calculator. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, I mean, they were looking for that fucking thing. They go through your clothes, you took off your boots and your socks, they give you a new uniform, send you back to the pod to go take a shower, you know, go about your day. Well then, on this day, it so happens I had to go see the nurse so she could check my blood pressure, right? I hadn't been waking up in the morning to take the pills. Maybe I would take the pill at night pill call, but I wasn't taking the morning pill, right? I'm freaking out because all I can hear in the jail, they're talking about this whole thing with the hooch they found, right? And I'm, fuck. So they take me down to the nurse. She takes my blood pressure and she's like, holy high number. While I was sitting waiting for her, I'm hearing the COs behind me in the hallway talk about this shit, right? So my heart's like, oh my God. And I'm like, fuck, we're in so much trouble, right? She's like, you have to start taking your pills or I'm sending you back to G-Pop. And I was like, all right, I promise I'll take them every day. She's like, all right, sends me back, you know? And from that day forward, every morning I took those pills because I did not want to go back to G-Pop. Well, after about a week or so, like, they would come in and they talk to us, like, get everybody together that worked in the kitchen, ask us questions, you know, they talk to us in a group, maybe pull one or two people out. I never got pulled out, but it was you, right? And then it kind of, like, dies down. Hector files for his good time, right? For every 3 days you work, you get, like, a day of good time. And the judge is the one that says whether or not you get that good time. So Hector files for his good time. Hector gets his good time. And he's leaving in 2 days. I'm like, damn, dude, that was quick. He's like, yeah, I got all my good time. Like, holy shit, man. And you couldn't file for your good time until a certain point in your sentence. I forget, you know. He got all his good times, or most of his good time. So he was getting out. I was like, damn, that's crazy. He leaves. And on his way out the door, he tells this young CO, Tito, that everybody likes, younger guy. He tells him all about the hooch. Tells him who did it. Tells him the whole fucking story. So, I don't know this, right? Later that day, I'm sitting in the pod watching TV, and Tito comes in, he does his little rounds. He sits down next to me, puts his arm on the table, he's like, so Miller, he's like, your little buddy left today, and I was like, Hector? He's like, yeah, Mr. Healy. I was like, yeah, he did. He's like, he told me a funny story, and I looked at him like, what story? He's like, he told me about dude. And I was like, what hooch? He's like, come on, man. He's like, don't lie to me, bro. He told me it was you and the whole time. I was like, what? He's like, man, he told me everything. Then he starts telling me what he told. I couldn't believe it. I was like, no. I was like, I plead the fifth, man. He's like, don't worry. I was like, no. I was like, why would he do that? He's like, we was just bullshitting. I was like, hey, you know who made that stuff in the kitchen? It got spilt about a month ago. And really, all the COs and stuff, and like the sergeants and the higher ups, they thought it had been there for years. They're like, oh yeah, that's just been there a long time. No, only about 2 weeks. They thought it had been there forever, and somebody just forgot about it and left it up there, and then it got knocked over during the search or something. That's what they think. At least that's what they thought. And like at this time when I was in there, like shit was bad for the economy. Gas, I forget what year it was, but gas was like $5 a gallon. You know, this was 16 years ago, 14, 15 years ago. You know, gas was fucking high. This is, man, 2010-ish, 2009, 2010. People were losing their jobs. Well, the union at the county for the corrections officers took a vote for something, like they wanted more money, and they all voted no, right? So they were about to lay off a shitload of more COs, and they said they were gonna have to send a bunch of people home, like non-violent people. You know, if you were in there for a crime like mine, you were about to get out early. Like it was about to be a mass exodus, kind of like what they did with COVID, right? So they're telling us, like, hey, you guys are about to leave, most of you, you know, because you couldn't be in the work pod and have violent crimes. So they're like, you know, you guys are about to all go home. I don't know who's going to make the food now, blah, blah, blah. Like, all our hopes are up. I'm on the phone with my girl, like, yeah, baby, I'm coming home, right? Some lady writes this thing in the Gazette, like the local Medina paper, like, I can't believe how, you know, greedy these people are being, and they should just be lucky to have a job. My husband worked there, and he was part of the first round of layoffs, and blah, blah. blah, blah. So they decided to take another vote. This time it passes. Now we're not going fucking nowhere. They accept the terms, and we're stuck in jail, right? So, and this happened like 2 or 3 times. Like, oh, we're going to lay everybody off. No, we're not. Oh, we're going to lay everybody off. No, we're not. Oh, now the union's going to take a vote. Yeah. And the whole time I was in there, you know, the very first time I went to jail, I was with Chloe and Caleb's mom. We were together 2.5 years. I was gone 53 days. By the time I came out, she had basically moved on, but couldn't tell me. It took her like a week or 2 for me to find shit out, right? Like, I talked about this a couple episodes ago, or whatever you want to say, parts ago, part 2, 3, something. Maybe part 1, I don't know. 53 days I'm gone. Come home, you know, fucking the whole life's upside down. I'm with this chick for 6 months. I get locked up for just over 6 months. Every phone call, she answered the phone. She couldn't come see me. She wrote me letters. I got a letter almost every day, every other day at least. We got 2 free phone calls a week. And I said, okay, I'm going to call you. I think it was like every Tuesday and Thursday you got a free phone call. Plus I buy a phone card. So we had a schedule, like I'll call you on my free phone call on this day. I'm going to call my mom on the free phone call on this day. I'll call my dad with the phone cards. Like, we had a thing, right? She was there for every single phone call. She made sure she was home. Wrote me letters all the time. I get out after 6 months, she's still waiting. 15 years later, 2 more kids with her, we're still together. Like, you just never know where you're gonna find that shit. Like true loyalty, somebody who's really gonna love you for you. And we were both doing the same shit. When I got out, we'll save that for the next one. But yeah, like, so that time in jail, there was a PS2 in the pod, because we were in the work pod. So you could get off work after working in the kitchen all day, cooking food, go back to the pod, play some ping pong, play some Madden, you know what I mean? Like, fuck, man. It wasn't like being in jail at all. It was like being in a camp, kind of. Like, I don't know why they didn't do the work pod all the time. But you had to be sentenced. You had to have more than like 60 days, because they didn't want somebody in there and then they're in and out, you know. They're like people with long terms. I filed for my good time, right? I think I had like 45 days of good time coming to me. I'm like, oh yeah. Like, I've been here my whole time. Like, this is gonna be great.